Hi there, Sharon HorneEllstrom here. Welcome to Supersize Your Business. Today we're talking about how to use ethics, morals, and values in our communication to supersize and grow your business. For me to grow my business and you to grow your business, of course. I love this topic. It's a little controversial. I know people get offended because we all believe that our thoughts and our beliefs and our values and our morals are the right ones, right? We don't believe something because we think it's wrong. We believe it just because it's our belief. We don't know it's a limiting belief or a false belief, whatever other people will tell us about it. We just think it's our beliefs because that's how our brains work. We think in terms of our experiences, and our feelings, our emotions, and our thoughts color and impact everything. So let's talk about first, what are ethics, what are morals, and what are values? And then I'm going to give an example in 5 different industries of good use of these things and bad use of these things. I'm going to tell you, I asked ChatGPT for these examples, so you don't think I just made them up. And I was going to share Kendra's story, a young lady that I've worked with for several years now. But instead, I'm going to share my own story about good and bad ethics and morals and values and how they played out in my corporate career as an example. But what are ethics? Ethics are the rules or the guidelines that we think everybody follows and should follow. Lots of industries have their own ethical guidelines and objectives called out and spelled out in professional organizations and things. I think when I was in the quality leadership field, we had, quality manager certifications, and part of that was ethics and morals and guidelines of how you were expected to behave and perform your duties as a certified quality manager. And most certification programs have some component of ethical and moral guidelines required. Most jobs that I had in corporate America all had in their contract for employment some type of a conflict of interest and ethics and morals and values clause, because it's a great way to let people go. If they do something illegal, unethical, or immoral, you can let them go and the company isn't necessarily held liable to that. So what are ethics? Ethics are the guidelines and the expectations and the rules that we're all expected to follow. Now, good ethics are honesty, authenticity, respect, treating other people the way you want to be treated, consideration of other people's rights, etc. But they're the rules that govern our expected behavior. Morals, on the other hand, are our beliefs of what's right and wrong. And values, like our core values, are the things that we hold near and dear to our heart and are most important to us. And they will influence our decisions, our choices, and the experiences that we have, because they're the things that allow us to be transparent and authentic in who we really are. And the more we're behaving in alignment with who we really are, the better our performance is in all areas and aspects of our life. So when we behave and when we communicate with ethics, morals, and values, we are understanding and believing in trust in our communication, right? We're connection. We want to communicate to understand. We want to build trust and authenticity. When we are communicating without ethics, morals, and values, oftentimes that information can be misinformation that we're communicating. Misleading information that we're communicating can be manipulative. It can actually be harmful and cause harm to other people and other things. And sometimes people do that intentionally, as we're going to discuss in these 5 industry examples. Number 1, healthcare. A good healthcare example is when you go in, you see your doctor, you get a diagnosis, and he compassionately explains to you your diagnosis and the treatment options that you have. A bad example in the healthcare industry would be a pharmaceutical rep who does anything and says anything to sell his products or services to profit the organization and get a big sales commission, ignoring side effects and not mentioning the bad aspects of the product that he is selling or she is selling. Business and sales example, a good example is a salesperson is upfront about the pros and cons of their product or service that they're trying to sell a new client or a new customer. They want to make sure that there's a match between the customer and the product or service, and it's really going to help them. A bad company hides negative side effects or negative aspects of their product or service to make more sales. Again, that's a short-term strategy that works for some companies, but it always comes back to bite you in the tail at the end. Almost said B-U-T-T. Journalism example in media. A good example is a reporter who fact checks and verifies information and presents it in an unbiased way. Remember when journalism used to do that? That used to be what journalism and reporters did. Bad example is a journalist who spreads false information or sensationalizes a story for views. We've got so many examples of that going on, both good and bad, mostly bad, in the world right now. It's not hard to find those. Education, a good example is a teacher who encourages open discussion and presents information in a fair and unbiased way. A bad example is a professor who grades students' papers based on their personal biases rather than on the merit of the answer that the person provided. Politics and leadership, yeah, we got some examples of this going on too. Good is a leader who communicates transparently, owning up to mistakes, and prioritizing the public's well-being. And bad is a politician who makes false promises to win votes without any intention of following through. And again, there are so many examples of that in our world right now. It's mind-boggling. And in each of these 5 industries, these aren't the, well, they're not the best, but they're also not necessarily the absolute worst industries in the world, right? I guess we could argue that based on our ethics, morals, and values, couldn't we? So how has this played out in my life, in my corporate career, in my business life, in a lot of different ways? I found myself early on in my corporate career going to work for a company that I believed wholeheartedly, because I would not have taken the job otherwise, that they had core values and thoughts and beliefs about how they were running the company that were in alignment with my personal ethics, morals, and values. And about a year into working for the company, it didn't take that long. There were signs that there was some mismatch, but a year into taking that job, I was given the not so fun duty of being the go-between between sales and our customers, our end customers, who were all over the world, which was really fun. But they weren't happy customers because our sales department had the belief that you tell the customer that you can do anything they ask for, even if it's not technologically possible at the time that we were manufacturing certain products and services. And to be in that position where you're always trying to explain and make the customers happy and try to get sales to understand that you have to not overpromise and on things that we can't even possibly deliver. That's where I really got the solid core value of under promise, over deliver, under promise, over deliver. I always had a continuous improvement core to me and value, and believing that you do what you say you're going to do. But that company didn't necessarily have that. They thought it was better to sell everything you could up front and do write-offs and pay the customer refunds. But that ate away at the relationships, and we ended up losing relationships and having to try to rebuild relationships just because of that one thing. But it was a core thing to the organization that I did not understand, and it was actually kept quiet from me until I was thrown into this position of being the go-between and trying to solve and resolve and negotiate the refunds for customers. And we're not talking small amounts of money. We're talking millions and millions of dollars. And so it was ugly. And I finally ended up leaving that organization and finding a new position, which was awesome for me because we didn't have a core values match. We didn't have a match in terms of ethics and values, authenticity, openness, over delivering, and under promising. And so that's my example. One of my biggest examples that sticks with me personally and still impacts me today. It's like, I'm going to do whatever I can to help you, but I'm not going to overpromise that I can do something that I absolutely positively can't or don't have the ability or personal technical capability or expertise to help with. That's our topic for today. I would love to hear your take on ethics, morals, and values and how it plays out and how you're using it in your company to build and grow and supersize. Because if you are who you say you are, if you treat people the way you want to be treated, if you're open and honest, if you under promise and over deliver, you will always have delighted customers and you will grow and supersize faster than you ever imagined possible. Have a great day. If I can help you in any way, ask. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow.